Ever feel like philosophy's big questions are just riddles with no end? Existence, consciousness, the whole shebang. We've been going in circles for centuries. But what if there was a way to actually pin down some answers, even if they're not final? Forget declaring an end to philosophy. We're talking about auditable contracts for answers. So what is this determinacy thing? It's not about shouting, I've got the final word, and locking it in a vault. Nope. It's more like a super detailed contract for an answer. First, you freeze the question exactly as asked. Then, you lay out all the hidden assumptions, the fine print. Next, you build and test counterworlds, what if scenarios that challenge your answer. Based on how well it holds up, considering evidence and scope, you get a grade, C0 through C4. Crucially, you also register when and how this answer can fail or be reopened. The kicker: answers aren't absolute truths, they're relational, meaning they connect to other ideas, scoped, meaning they have boundaries, and reopenable, meaning they can evolve. It's about clarity within limits, not claiming infinite knowledge. Now, where do these answers live? Not in one giant cosmic library, but in 11 distinct local worlds. Think of them as specialized zones: existence, truth, consciousness, self, freedom, ethics, meaning, society, language, religion, technology. Each zone tackles specific ultimate questions. For example, asking about the self could mean biological continuity, memory, legal responsibility, or first-person experience. These are different local worlds. The system maps out 64 answers across these zones, highlighting 56 themes where different answers connect, and issuing 16 certificates saying, no global answer here, folks. The point? We don't need one grand theory of everything. We get bounded clarity in specific contexts. Like figuring out persistence of self differently, depending on whether you're a biologist, a lawyer, or just trying to remember your grocery list. How do we judge these answers? With a C0 to C4 firewall. Think of it as a quality control system. C0 is the strongest, semantic necessity. The answer is deeply tied to the meaning of the terms used. C1 checks the structure of counterworlds. Does the answer hold up under scrutiny? C2 looks for multi-source convergence. Do different lines of reasoning lead here? C3 assesses world context. How relevant is this answer beyond its local context? And crucially, C4 ensures reopenability. Under what conditions can new evidence force us to revisit this answer? Notice there's no C5, no final declaration. Why? Because philosophy thrives on questioning. If we hit C5, we'd be done, and that's this opposite of what we want. It keeps the conversation alive. Okay, let's talk about the famous DIKWP framework. Don't think of these as 5 solid blocks stacked in a neat pyramid. D for data or description, I for information or inference, K for knowledge or closure, W for wisdom or world contact, P for purpose or future directions. This system says they're networked roles, constantly transforming and validating each other around a specific question. You need to specify what actually occurs D, which differences matter I, which relations form a stable pattern K, which consequences follow W, and which paths open or close P. It's not a one-way street from raw data to wise purpose. It's a dynamic web of 25 interconnected modes of analysis. Much more flexible, right? So why does this whole ARCHEQUEST approach actually work? It tackles the classic philosophical traps head-on. First, it stops semantic differences being disguised as factual fights. By defining terms and mapping local worlds, we see if people are even talking about the same thing. Second, it prevents confusing closure with completion. Just because an answer is within its own set of rules doesn't mean it's the ultimate truth. Third, it separates interpretive authority from qualification as truth. Being an expert or traditional doesn't automatically make your claim true according to the system's criteria. The result? 64 explicit, well-defined answers, each with clear boundaries and conditions for revision. Philosophy isn't about finding the single right answer and stopping. It's about creating rigorous, transparent processes for ongoing inquiry. That's the real determinacy.